Okay, so thank you so much for joining us for this conversation, Gracia. Just about getting to know you, getting to know about your experience for the Regulatory Affairs program that you've taken with us. And we'd be glad to also see areas of improvement as we move along the journey. So as we get started into the conversation, maybe you'll just take a moment to let us know who Gracia is, where you're based in, and your professional journey. Over to you, Gracia.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Gracia Wheatley Smith. I am currently the Chief of Drugs and Pharmaceutical Services in the Ministry of Health and Social Development in the Government of the Virgin Islands, which is located in the Caribbean with the beautiful seas, the tropical breeze, and the white sand. Originally, I was the senior pharmacist, pharmacy manager for BVI HSA, which is the British Virgin Islands Health Services Authority, which is the statutory board of the government that's responsible for health, for the delivery of health in the country. The BVI is an archipelago of 50 islands, rocks, and keys. So we have to provide healthcare services to the main island, which is Tortola, and then to our sister islands, 4 main ones especially, Virgin Gorda, Anegada, Joshua Dyke. Yes. So it is quite interesting in dealing with the provision of services over multi-islands, but it is a task that must be accomplished so that all BVI territory and residents can have access to quality healthcare. I'm currently based in the Ministry of Health, and my role in the Ministry of Health is regulatory along with policy making, updating our laws, inspections, regulations, quality assurance, narcotic management, and so forth. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. And maybe a follow-up question that would be keen to understand from you would be in terms of the kind of work that you're doing within the policy space and the regulatory component. To what extent is the regulation of pharmaceuticals and medical products is in the Caribbean? Any experience that you'd be glad to share on that?
Um, we do have an organization called CARPHA, Caribbean Public Health Agency, that is vastly responsible for quality assurance of medication, testing, etc. It also has an arm that is responsible for registration, and there is an understanding once it is registered by CARPHA, the other Caribbean islands, they are free to adopt it according to their policies that they have in place. So we are multi-state with other islands. We are part of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Food Procurement Service, and we benefit from technical assistance there along with quality assurance such as drug testing. We are updating our laws individually and collectively as well to try to strengthen our legislation as far as registration and regulations, regulatory affairs are concerned. We do have some islands that are ahead of the other islands, and we are all trying to work together so that we can all reach the same standard so that regulatory affairs in the Caribbean will be at one level across the board. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
In the BVI in my office, I am working on updating our laws, updating our regulations, the setting the standard for pharmacist qualification for practicing in the BVI. Yes. So we have drafted our national medicines policy, our donation policy. We are currently now working on a national formulary and a national medicine and therapeutics committee so that we can ensure safety, efficacy, and availability of medicines to the residents of the BVI. Yes.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's amazing work that you're doing. And I'm glad that actually you're working on it in a structured way that you know which particular aspect that you're looking at and also ensuring all the respective islands are able to access the medicines that they need. So looking at that scope of work that you're dealing with and the kind of understanding of the regulatory landscape within the Caribbean island, one key question that we'll be keen to understand is you are part of our regulatory affairs training program of African Pharmaceutical Network. How did you get to know about it, and what was the trigger point, the interesting bit about it that you wanted to enroll and be part of the journey?
Well, I am always, because of our situation where we are geographically, I'm always looking for opportunities where I can meet with other pharmacists on a global scale. So I search the internet, I would just type in keywords, and then according to what the result is, then I would click on that and select. I don't know how I got the African Pharmaceutical Network, but it was very interesting. I saw it and I said, well, let me just click and see what is happening there. And then I was told about the course, and I said, well, yes, it's right up my alley. I always like to do courses that would hone my skills, would help improve my skills a bit more. Um, and I said, well, let me join and let me see so that I can develop, so that I can become abreast with information from another part of the country, from another part of the globe, and see what is happening and see if we are meeting standards and if there are ways that I can improve for the BVI along with the international standards that are there. So I was very interested, and yes, I did sign on. I enjoyed it very much. I learned so many things. It brought back some memories from when I was in school and doing my degree, and I'm like, wow, okay, so we're putting things into practice, and yes, some things are still there, but some things, there have been new developments. So yes, you combine the two, and then you can get on with the work and improve your skills.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm glad that you actually started. I thought you got it maybe from somebody referring it to you, whatever it is from the professional networks. But that intentionality and looking for that information, that's really commendable. And thank you so much for that. So looking at your experience having worked in the regulatory space and even within the ministry at that level, but also having also taken the course with us for the last 3 months, any things that any specific aspect that stood out for you that you'd be keen to actually talk about?
What I appreciated actually was the case study. I really loved the case study and the presentations that we had last week, listening to the various approaches that each group member took and the final information sharing, that there's no wrong answer in regulatory affairs. It is just how you look at it, all the circumstances that are there, what you have available, what is the present situation, and then you make a decision accordingly, tailoring to ensure that medicines will be available, would continue to be available to individuals, and that regulatory affairs would not get into the way of having those medicines readily available, but while taking, of course, into consideration safety and efficacy, but ensure that availability is still there. So that
Thank you so much.
that case study really was as we say, the cream of the crop for me.
Thank you. Thank you. That's glad to know as well. So when you look at it, looking at some areas of improvement, are there any specific aspects that probably we could have made better for you for the learning, that is?
Um, it was too short. The course was too short because I'm now wondering, what am I going to do with myself? I got accustomed every Wednesday looking forward to 12:30 to 2:30, knowing that I'm going to be here discussing with folks, hearing all the presentations, getting some more, absorbing some more information, and then, wow, before I knew it, it's at an end. But I know you have to get on to other things. So,
Yeah.
but it was very informative. I can't say that I saw any area that was lacking. Possibly for us who are a bit more on the other side of the globe, getting some more information concerning the laws and the legislation would be really good, of other countries. Would be nice. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Yes. And there's one thing, one disappointment I actually had was in the form where it says, if you want to join the APN, and then it says you can't seem to join if you're not in Africa, something, because it's not allowing me to join outside of Africa. So I was very disappointed for that because I wanted to keep the relationships that I had formed over the last couple of months.
No, that is open, and I think maybe we will look into it, because initially the provision was to have an African presence, but one of the key bits that we've noted is this practice and the regulation and also everything around healthcare is a global space. So then we have to open up to engage with people across markets. So I'm sure that I'll actually will have conversation with my colleague, and Juliet would be glad to share those details and even to support you in being a member and engaging with us so that we move forward on the next phases as well. So that is welcome feedback, and we'll be glad to open up the space for as many people as we wish.
That would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
All in all, it was a very good course. It was very information driven. It was very in real time. It was very appropriate, and the quality of the presentations were excellent. The timeliness of getting the recordings after the presentation so you could go over them and really take your time out, because being on the job sometimes, although you're here, you still have a little distraction here and there, but you can go back and listen to it and concentrate more and make sure that you have the proper notes that you need, so that in the future, if you need to review, you have it right there and everything is there and in at hand. So everything was done very much in accordance, and it was excellent. Excellent.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And we're hoping that actually as we move along the journey as well, we can also still continue making improvements and seeing what the next phase of our offerings would look like. And I'll just let you know we have additional other programs that are coming up, but we'll be sharing those details as we move along. But it's been a pleasure. I really, really appreciate it.
Excellent. So my question would be, are you going to keep the WhatsApp group?
Yes, the WhatsApp group you'll be transitioned to the alumni group, where we have the whole group for the people who have taken our courses all through. So what we normally have is that when we sign up for the course, we have a cohort and we manage the communications for that particular cohort within the group. But after we completed the whole training modules for the 3 months that we cover the course, then we would transfer all our members to the WhatsApp group, where we have the regulatory affairs alumni group. So then you'll be interfacing and actually connecting with people from other cohorts as well. And that is a group that is indefinitely going to be there and available. So any resources, any inquiries will be more than glad to engage and support.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that.
Yes. So the group actually should be opened by end of this week. So the process is underway to facilitate the transition, award CPD points. Then we close that group as we start working on the subsequent cohort, but we also keep the engagements.
Okay, excellent. I look forward to receiving that notification.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Great.
Anything else? Any other question that you would